Yo, what's up guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're gonna talk a little bit more about Drytron. On my last deck profile, someone commented, how do I learn how to play this deck? And I was like, wait a minute, that's my job. So I'm here to guide you through Drytrons in 2022, or at least my list. I'm gonna talk first a little bit about the theory of the deck, why I play this specific list. I have a deck profile bit on this already, so I'm not gonna go into too much detail about specific cards or ratios. So go check out the deck profile. It should be up there in the corner right now, and the link will also be in the description down below. Alright, so there's a couple of ways you can play Drytron. Ever since EVA got banned, Ultimateness is basically just garbage right now. It's really difficult to get like multiple fairies in your hand. Even if you play the perfection build, it's very difficult to get more than 2 fairies consistently in the hand. So you do not really focus that much on negation anymore, but you do focus on a lot of other different interactions. So one of the builds you can play, the more popular build, is the Sight DPE build, or any DPE build, which is pretty good. You can search Sight with the Pen 10, or you can just use the Dagda Verte combo like everyone does, which is kind of fine, but it's really, I don't know, kind of plays into Droplet like the deck always does anyway, but it gets a little bit more punished in my opinion. This list definitely as well, but you can get set up a little bit better resource game. There are other lists. I've seen Yorit's 60 card list that has been featured on the channel as well, featuring more on hand traps, but also DPE and Sight. There are Megalith decks, which are very good. The Megaliths are very good, but the reason why I'm not playing those are because they add a lot of bricks in the deck. If you watch my deck profile, you're actually going to find out that my list also gives a lot of bricks, but not as hard as like drawing an Ophio or drawing a Bethor, which was just horrible in that deck, and I was kind of sick and tired of that. So this is the list that I came up with now. I do play the Perfection build. The reason why I play Perfection build is because it does set up 2 negates, which is just insane compared together with the rest of your board, and it's just super free when you draw pre-prep, which is basically why I play this, and I'll explain what it does in like a little bit. I still play Meteonis as well. I still play the Diviners. I do not play Kael'thas, which is becoming more popular because it's an extender you can make Baron. But the Baron is only really good if you play the Megaliths as well, which I do not play. And I play the Red Eyes just because you can play DPE, but I just wanted to end on like discard with 3 negates and like an IP, which is basically what this deck does if you open pre-prep plus any Drytron. So let's talk about rules in the deck. For those who are new, this is basically an OTK card or a finisher. Sometimes if your end is a little bit wacky or if you get trolled, this can be part of your end board. It's a 4K attacker that attacks over everything, which is just insane. It's really easy to Alpha Zeta, summon Mu Beta, send this ritual attack for game after you've dropleted the field, and it will be your 4th summon. It's my negate guy. The Angels, this is what I use to link climb with, because I do link climb a lot, and because I already play both, I feel like I can valorize playing Natasha. Natasha is just OP, stealing your opponent's sponsors, and if you get into overtime, I never do, but you can. It can gain life points, which is a very nice win con. Diviner mainly used to become level 6. It's also very used to bait out hand traps. You can't really fully utilize her in this deck, unfortunately, because we do not really play any synchros. But this is mainly used to get like hand traps out, and in my list I use her as link material, but other lists can play Beatrice. I also play Beatrice for game 2. And it dries. Alpha is just the most important one at you Benten. After that, Gamma is the most important one because he can summon one back from the grave. Then you have Zeta to get the ritual spell back. And then you have a Delta. Where are my Deltas? I have no clue. I play triple Delta. I don't know where my Deltas went. Not that it matters that much because I'm not going to be using them for the video that much. Okay, weird. Just imagine that there are Deltas here. It's fine. Play the 1 Herald. In case it comes up that you have to play Trend Traps or you already have the Benten and you have an Alpha, then you can just Benten search this instead, or you can Benten search this if you're afraid of Nib, or if you have a little bit of a knowledge, your opponent flashed a Nib or something, you can play it. I do play the Room Barracks, it's unfortunate. Prep's nice because it can add this in case you open a ritual spell already. It can also add back ritual spell from grave, which is insane, and it can just search the most important cards in your deck. Triple Nova, triple pre-prep. This is a brick if you open the Dawn. Double emergency. This is a tip from Shumping. This is a one of the worst hard ones per turn cards to draw twice, so I wanted to play one less. This card is just too insane to cut down. This one is it's needed, and this one is like the worst out of the three. One Fafnir. One is enough. You don't want to see two, because you don't want to open multiples. 1/1/1. Foolish Burial is any name in the deck. And then in the deck profile, you're going to see the rest of the cards, which are dropped. That's triple tag and a called by. But for now, I do not really want to have all these cards in my deck, since we're going to perform just normal combos. Anyway. Alright, so to get things started, the main combo, every combo in the deck is Alpha Zeta. You can get there through multiple ways. You can get there through an emergency. You can get there through a Nova. You can get there through a Fafnir. It's really simple. It's kind of the meme, you Alpha tribute Zeta. Alpha will almost always just get a Benton turn one. It's the first ritual you're gonna need. It's just too good. You're gonna Zeta F. Adding the Meteonis to your hand. Benton will activate adding any fairy that you do not have already. In our case, it's going to be the Diviner. Overlay for Mubeta. Mubeta can send any Drytron card from your deck to the grave. So what we will be doing here is sending the Gamma. It's just very important. Activate Meteonis. Summon back the Benton. I always like to do this first, because then you will not get nipped, or like they will get less value out of their nip. I'm gonna normal summon the Diviner. Send Herald, so Diviner is 6 Herald effects. Search any ritual you want, anything you need. What I usually do right now is just get an Idaten. Because I like just having the Idaten. Meteonis will be added back to the hand. After that, we are going to activate Gamma, activating Benton. Benton will activate. So now, for example, you can add Orange Light, so you have an additional negate, which is quite nice. Do remember that we have 3 other cards in our hand right now, which is just very good. I'm gonna be linking these away. For the IP, I like to use IP as one of the very first cards, just so that I can, you know, get going with the deck. And then here I can do a couple of plays. If you just make a Verte from this point on, you have some advantage. You can also start link climbing a little bit. You do sacrifice your 1 card, but that's arguably kind of fine. You can do some other stuff here, maybe make Beatrice. Very much depending on what your hand kind of is. Maybe if you can get a Delta going, you can get a Delta going. Maybe draw an additional card before you want to make the Verte, or just get some additional bodies on the board, just in case. But what I usually just do here is just make the Verte. So what's just nice about this combo is it's just very clean. You have a very defined end board, you use all your pieces. If you just go to Verte there and not make Beatrice, you do kind of miss the added value of the attached card, but that's kind of fine. It's honestly not really that big of a problem. And for example, if you open something like this, it's also really easy what to do with this. You can just pre-prep for those who do not know what this card does. Some people are just like, what does it do? How does it work? Pre-prep adds a ritual monster and a ritual spell, and the ritual spell has to say the name of the ritual monster, which Dawn of the Herald does. If you ritual summon using Dawn of the Herald, you can banish it, add back the ritual tribute that you did, or one of the tributes. So here you Alpha Zeta. You add Benton. Then we immediately ritual summon. So this is going to be our second summon. Dawn will trigger, adding back Benton, and Benton will trigger. So what I like to do here is not immediately go for the Diviner. I like to go for an Idaten first. Or perhaps if you do not need another ritual, you can go for the Orange Light first. The reason why you do not want to go Diviners, if you get interrupted anywhere at this point, you do not want to be discarding your Diviner. And I think you do it later, like you kind of want to value your cards. This is mainly used to be added for this guy to be negated instead. So now we can finally Zeta. And you have a very nice discard. We add Meteonis. Yeah, the Diviner to our hands with the Benton. Now we finally get the Diviner going. Overlay for Mubeta. Sending a Gamma. Can Ritual Summon again. Here we do have a lot of negates, so you can just Gamma it back immediately. Benton will add Idaten, which is just going to be another fodder card for the Herald. Going to be adding back Meteonis, targeting a Gamma. Make IP. Then we'll summon Diviner, the effects. Activate Herald effects. Here you can add back like a nice third negate, which is kind of for free. So now it's going to be really depending again on what your hand is. You know, maybe you want to combo off a little bit more. There's not a lot you can do with to just show off. You can make a Verte here. Then you have 1, 2, 3, 4 negates if you discard this. And you also have 2 other cards, which is very nice. You also could do, for example, here is summon the Idaten. Idaten adds it back. Overlay for Beatrice. Beatrice effect. Sending the Delta. Can activate the Delta. Reading this, drawing an additional card, you know, could be any card in the game. After that, use these two to make Verte. Then you still have enough advantage. You do lose 1 negate. You still have 1, 2 negates, and you can use the Verte to make an Appaloosa, for example, for 3. Or you can go into a Unicorn for like a little bit of a better resource game after that. That is kind of the standard lines of play. Everything after that, you're gonna basically need to learn. This deck is very flexible, very viable. There's a lot of stuff you can do. You're gonna have to learn how to play through it. You know, use your cards effectively. Try to bait out stuff with your Diviner. Diviner's a card in my list specifically that doesn't really matter that much. In other lists, you have also other uses for it, so that's kind of nice. Definitely look around. I really recommend watching Logan YGA. I will leave the link to his channel in the description. He's another Drytron god, to say it like that. And yeah, for the future direction of this deck, there's a lot of stuff you can do. Try to experiment. Check out the megaliths. Check out the DP side package. You gotta see and feel what you feel like. But yeah, there's probably also a branded list somewhere that I'm gonna be testing out very soon. So yeah, definitely go check it out. It's a very fun deck. Thank you guys for watching. Hope it helped. See you in the next one.